everyone, my name is Katie and welcome back to Royalty Soaps. Today we are going to be making confetti soap, and I think confetti soap is one of the easiest yet most stunning soaps that you can make. You can be advanced, you can be a beginner, it looks great for everybody. I have my room temperature lye water here and my room temperature oils, and as you probably can see, my oils are not nearly as high in this bucket as they normally are, and that's because whenever you're adding confetti to your soap, you have to account for the volume of this whenever you're filling up your molds. And if I made the same amount of batch, I would have a ton left over, it wouldn't all fit into the molds, and it just wouldn't be very good. I made this confetti by making a batch of my piping recipe, coloring it with 5 different colors, pouring it into a mold, and then grading up all of the pieces. I didn't sit in mine, but you totally can. So the first thing we're going to do here is mix up this lye water solution that I have added titanium dioxide to with my stick blender. Just want to make sure that's good and incorporated. Then I'm going to burp my stick blender here in my oils, and I'm going to pour my lye water solution down my stick blender to kind of help avoid air bubbles. Scrape out that lye container with my spatula and blend this on low until emulsification. The thing we're going to add in is my fragrance oil. So I'm going to pour this down the stick blender as well. This is a floral fragrance, but it slows down trace, oddly enough. You won't find a lot of those. Okay, after making sure that that fragrance oil is good and incorporated with my stick blender, I'm going to tap off the extra, set the stick blender off to the side, and I'm going to start adding all the little confetti bits and stir it up here with my spatula. So I'm going to start by mixing this rather slowly. I don't want any more confetti to come out that already has. And I want to make sure that this gets all the way through the soap. So even the soap at the very bottom that's hardest to reach, I want it all mixed in. So I'm going to keep on mixing. I'm going to wait until the soap sets up a little bit. That way the confetti sort of goes all through the soap and doesn't just sink to the bottom, because sometimes if your soap is too liquidy, those particles are still too heavy and they'll just, float to the very bottom. So I'm going to wait till it thickens up a little bit, then we're going to pour into the molds. I decided to pour facing this way this time. I noticed my hands keep getting in all of the shots. So I am going to start very, very slowly because this is kind of a ploppy mixture and can get all over the place. In fact, I think I'm just going to change to a different container to pour out of. Much easier. Once I shook these soaps down a little bit, you can see there's still a little bit extra left. These soaps will be a little bit smaller, but they're still going to be huge. I mean, my high tops kind of lend to the bars being huge, but if I had put in more confetti, they'd be up a little higher, or if I had put more base oils in. I'm pretty sure I did 90 ounces of base oils for this batch, so I might bump it up to 100 next time. I'm going to let these sit while I mix up the piping, and then we will do the really fun top for this batch. I have added some purple mica drizzled on the top, and as you can see, I cleaned up the edges and accidentally stuck my finger around some of the corners, but it's okay. It's not going to mess up how it looks. So the first thing I'm going to do before adding on the piping is spritz this a little bit with rubbing alcohol. I find that helps the piping stick a little bit better when you have mica on the top. And then using my Royalty Soaps piping set, I'm going to pipe 4 little dollops across, just like this. For those who are new here, this is a completely separate batch of soap that I make. The recipe for the base of the soap, so the bottom of it, is in the description box. And then if you want the recipe for this piping soap that I have, complete with really detailed instructional videos, then you can purchase it at nurturesoap.com. They are the ones who distribute my piping set. And I wanted to talk today about something that a couple of people have asked me in the comments on some of my recent videos, and that is if I have a Patreon account and if I am going to be getting one. Patreon is a fan funding website. It is like a GoFundMe, except for you work on a monthly subscription basis. And then there are different levels of rewards that you get. So if you say subscribe for like $1 a month or so, then you may get access to some exclusive content. It just depends on what sort of creator is using Patreon and what they make. So like I said, it's like a more consistent version sort of GoFundMe. So the answer to one of those questions, if I have one, the answer is no. And then I will never get one either. So there's the answer to the second question, and I'll tell you why. But first I want to put a disclaimer out there that I am not in any way saying that any other soap maker who chooses to have a Patreon is doing the wrong thing or nothing like that. This is just a totally personal thing. I don't think it should be an industry standard by any means that anyone should hold themselves to. This is just my opinion. I just would not feel comfortable taking money for people for something that I'm already doing. I'm going to continue to create YouTube content whether or not people gave money to me directly, but also it's my job. YouTube pays me for the ads that they place on my video. So I'm paid essentially for every video that I make because I have ads on it. So this is my job. I'm being paid to do my job. So as an example, whenever you buy my piping set, you get exclusive access to YouTube videos that are only available for soap piping set customers. But the thing is that you're getting a physical product. You're purchasing a piping set that you can use for your own enjoyment, and then you're getting kind of as a bonus the media content. So I just wouldn't feel good about like essentially charging people for media content. I know that that's not necessarily the way people look at it. Some people look at it as you get a gift for giving, and that's again completely fine. It's just a perspective thing, and you guys pay me by watching the ads on my videos, so you guys are already kind of, you know, monetarily supporting me just by watching ads. So yes, I will never get a Patreon. That's just not what I'm gonna do. I'm just not gonna ask you money for something I'm already being paid for, even if it is, you know, minimal. But as we continue to grow our little soapy family on here, that means, you know, potentially better funding for me as an artist and a creator, which means I'll be able to do more things and upgrade and make things look nicer, hopefully. And then of course, if you want to support me even further, you can pop on over to the Etsy shop and get you a bar of soap. So it's kind of a win-win situation for us over here. And one more time, I just want to say I am absolutely not busting on anybody else who does this. I have lots of incredible soapy friends who've decided to go that route, and that's awesome. Good for them. I wish them the absolute best of luck in that venture. So after I've put 4 across and then filled in with 3 across the little gaps in the middle, now I'm going to put 3 down the middle of each individual bar. This looks so puffy. This is just one of my absolute favorite tips, this big round tip, because it looks like clouds or marshmallows every single time. Also, Cirque de Bouquet is a remake. I believe I said that earlier. So if you'd like to see those videos of me doing this soap the first time, you can just pop over to the little eye icon. It's in the right-hand corner of the screen, and it'll take you to those videos. Okay, now for the fun part, and that is to put the Mica drizzle on here. So I have 5 different colors, just like the 5 different colors I have on the inside of the soap. I use oil for my Mica drizzle. Lots of people like to use glycerin. I know some people like to use water, but I just like to use oil. That's just my preferred method. And I also like to pretty highly concentrate the amount of mica that I have in there so that it stays pretty pigmented as I drop it here on all these soaps. And another thing I like to do is try to keep the mica separate from running into each other. It's inevitable towards the end, like by the time you get to, you know, color 4 or 5, it's definitely gonna run, and that's okay. That's the way it goes sometimes, but here at the beginning, I try to keep everything separate. I've also tried something a little bit different here by not putting a very, very tall peak in the middle. I just kind of wanted to see what I could do with that. I kind of made it look sort of flat all the way across. I don't know if I like it though. So this was a Vibrance Purple from Nurture Soap, and now I'm going to move on to their aquamarine color. I can't remember if they call it aquamarine or teal, but I will be leaving all the colors that I'm drizzling on the top here here down in the description box below in case you really like one of them and want to get your paws on it for yourself. Now I'm moving on to this spring green color. It is really, really pretty. Now I'm going to use some of this pink. This is Apple Blossom Pink from TKB. This is one of my favorite light pink colors. And now for the very last color here, this is Sunshine Yellow. This is also from Nurture Soap. This is one of the best yellows. It's so vibrant and pretty. This soap is so springy, and yes, it is kind of a Cirque du Soleil. That was obviously one of the inspirations for the name, but I actually did not pick this name. This name was a fan-picked name, and it stuck really well. Lots of people seem to have liked that one, so I'm really, really grateful that that person decided to comment that day, because this has been one of the favorite names that has ever been picked. So now that you've seen me put all the colors on, I'm going to go back and, you know, kind of fill it in, put a little bit more on, then we'll put some glitter on, and we will spritz this with rubbing alcohol. This is what it looks like after I have put all the mica on it, and I took little bits of it that was left over in the pipette, and I just squeezed it really hard, and that's what kind of made this paint splatter look. So now what I'm going to do is put some glitter on it. This is from TKB, and it goes absolutely everywhere. After that, we're going to spritz this real quick with rubbing alcohol, and we're going to let this set in the mold for 24 hours, and then we'll come back and we'll cut them, and it's going to be awesome. Well, we are back the next day. I have Caleb helping me film this part. We're trying out new ways to film this. We did this with the Hoppy Spring soap. Now we're doing this here to see if we like it better. So this is what the soap looks like. As you can see here on the sides, you can see little bits of the confetti all the way down, and it looks a lot cooler once we cut into it. So I've already aligned this to make sure that all the bars are going to be around the same size. Pushing down slower makes for a more even cut. So this is what the soap looks like on the inside. So I let Caleb pick out the yes or no question, or rather multiple choice question for today. Take it away, Caleb.
This is a would you rather question. So would you rather only be able to whisper or only be able to shout?
Which one would you rather?
Shout, of course.
I think I might take whisper. I really do. I think I might go with whisper. I can't wait to see what you guys say. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a big thumbs up, subscribing to my channel, and maybe even leaving me a comment down below. And I'll see you next time. So until then, bye for now.